In the year 1014, a Gaelic warrior king shattered the Viking grip on Ireland at the Battle of Clontarf and died the last true High King of the entire island. His name still travels inside American families who have no idea they are carrying it. And he is only one of 15 crowned Celtic bloodlines still hiding inside the surnames on this list. Linguists have decoded these names in the pages of the Annals of the Four Masters. Geneticists at Trinity College Dublin have confirmed the Dina signatures buried under them. What follows are 15 ancient Celtic surnames tied directly to lost royal dynasties. Stay until number 1, because the final name belongs to the greatest Gaelic king who ever lived. The Celtic kingdoms did not vanish quietly. They were absorbed, exiled, or drowned in blood on the fields of Clontarf, Culloden, and Kilmary. But their names traveled. Every surname on this list crossed the Atlantic in the coat pockets of men who often had no idea what they were carrying. That ends today. Number 15. Kennedy. In Old Irish, this name is Synide, meaning descendant of Centig, the helmeted chieftain of Thomond. Centig Mac Lorsan ruled a fortress kingdom above the River Shannon in the 10th century. He carved his sons into legend by giving one of them a name the world would never forget. That son was Brian, better known as Brian Boru, the High King of Ireland who would smash Viking power in Munster forever. Every Kennedy in America therefore carries the direct father line of the greatest Gaelic king in Irish history. The Annals of Innisfallen list the palace at Kincora, above the cliffs of Killaloe, where these princes once ruled from stone chairs blessed by monks. The oath swords of Thomond were forged in the same workshops that armed Brian's household guard. If your name is Kennedy, your bloodline may carry the helmeted crown of the kings of Thomond. But this name is not the only one hiding a royal war chief. The next surname belongs to a dynasty that ruled Ireland's eastern coast for 600 years. Number 14. Byrne. In Irish, the name is Broin, meaning descendant of Bran. Bran mac Melmurda was king of Leinster in the 11th century, and his own father was one of the Irish kings who marched against Brian Boru at Clontarf. When Leinster fell under Norman pressure 100 years later, the Byrnes retreated into the Wicklow Mountains and refused to bow. For 4 centuries, they defied the English crown from stone forts hidden in the glens of Glenmalure. In 1580, Feig MacHugh O'Byrne led a mountain army that ambushed and shattered an English column under Lord Grey de Wilton, killing over 800 soldiers in a single afternoon. The Annals of Loch See still describe the Byrnes as among the most feared Gaelic warriors of the Eastern Kingdom. If your name is Byrne, your bloodline may carry the mountain crown of the kings of Leinster. And Leinster held one more dynasty whose name is now scattered across half of America. This one belongs to the single most common Gaelic surname in the world. Number 13. Murphy. In Irish, the name is Morchada, meaning descendant of Morchad, the sea warrior. The Murphys of Wexford descend from Morchad, king of the Uí Néill branch of Leinster in the 11th century, and his grandfather Diarmait mac Melna MB was overking of southern Ireland. By the 1500s, the Murphys held their own castle courts, their own private laws, and their own sworn men at arms across 3 southeastern counties. Today, Murphy is the most common surname in Ireland and one of the most common Irish-descended names in America. Every one of those men and women shares a founding ancestor recorded in the Book of Leinster as a crowned king of the Uí Néill dynasty. Their inauguration mound at Knockrow still stands in the fields of northern Wexford. If your name is Murphy, your bloodline may carry the sea warrior crown of the Uí Néill kings. But the story now leaves Ireland for the Highland Mist. The next name was forged in the mountains of western Scotland, where a Gaelic dynasty ruled a kingdom no English army could reach. Number 12. McKenzie. In Scottish Gaelic, the name is Mac Coinish, meaning son of Coinneach the Fair. The McKenzies rose as the great warrior chiefs of Kintail, a fjord kingdom on the western coast of the Highlands. Their strongholds were Eilean Donan, the island castle that rises from the meeting of three sea lochs, and Brahan Castle inland. By the 1600s, the Mackenzies held more Highland land than almost any clan west of the Grampians, and could put thousands of fighting men in the field within a week. A royal charter granted by King David II in the 14th century named the chief of Kintail as a crowned lord of the Western Sea. The clan motto declares that they shine, not burn. If your name is Mackenzie, your bloodline may carry the Sea Lord crown of the Western Highlands. Cross the Irish Sea now and drop south into Wales, where the next surname belongs to a personal name that was worn by more kings than any other name in the Welsh chronicles. Number 11. Griffith. The Welsh original is Gruffydd, and it is the personal name of some of the greatest kings recorded in the Welsh chronicles. Gruffydd ap Cynan seized back the throne of Gwynedd in 1075 after a bloody exile in Ireland and ruled for more than 50 years, longer than any other native Welsh king. His grandson Gruffydd ap Llywelyn was the only man in history to unite all of Wales under a single crown. The name Griffith itself is the anglicized form of ap Gruffydd, meaning son of Gruffydd. Every Griffith and Griffiths in America is a direct patronymic descendant of one of these royal names, recorded in the medieval Welsh law scrolls known as the Cyfraith Hywel. Their family standard flew above the stone fortress at Aberfraw, on the Isle of Anglesey, the ceremonial seat of the kings of Gwynedd. If your name is Griffith, your bloodline may carry the twin crowns of Gwynedd. Back to Scotland now. The next name belongs to the most persecuted clan in Highland history, and their motto has an answer to that persecution burned into it. Number 10. MacGregor. Clan Gregor's Gaelic motto is S Roghail Mo Dream, which translates to Royal is my race. The clan claims descent from Gregor, said to be the son of Kenneth MacAlpin, the 9th century king who first united the Picts and the Scots into a single crown. Whether the direct genealogy holds through every century, the MacGregors carried that royal claim so seriously that for 200 years they refused to bow to any lowland lord. In 1603, the Scottish Crown outlawed the very name MacGregor and made it a hanging offense to speak it aloud. Every MacGregor alive during that century had to travel under an assumed name. And still the clan survived. Rob Roy MacGregor became the folk hero who kept that royal blood defiant through the 18th century, immortalized in the chronicles of the Scottish borders. If your name is MacGregor, your bloodline may carry the outlawed crown of the ancient Scots. And yet MacGregor was not the largest Western Highland clan by land, ships, or fighting men. Their great rivals dwarfed them on every count. Number 9. Campbell. In Gaelic, the name is Caimbull, meaning crooked mouth, a battle nickname given to an ancestor whose face had been reshaped by a sword strike. From that scarred warrior grew the most feared noble family in western Scotland, the Dukes of Argyll. By the 1500s, the Campbells had married into every royal house in Scotland and held the largest private army north of Edinburgh. Their seat at Inverarray Castle overlooks Loch Fyne with cannons still mounted on its walls. Campbell chiefs sat as regents beside Scottish kings and cast the deciding votes on national war. In 1692, the Campbells were the sword arm behind the massacre of Glencoe, a name still whispered with fear across the Highlands. If your name is Campbell, your bloodline may carry the crooked-mouthed crown of Argyll. And yet even the Campbells feared the sea kings of the Western Isles. The next name belongs to a dynasty whose kingdom was made of water, wind, and warships. Number 8. MacLeod. The Gaelic is Mac Leod, meaning son of Leod. Leod was the son of Olaf the Black, the Norse Gaelic king of the Isle of Man and the Hebrides in the 13th century. That single lineage makes every MacLeod today the descendant of a crowned sea king who ruled the entire western island chain. The chiefs of MacLeod still hold Dunvegan Castle on the Isle of Skye, one of the oldest continuously inhabited castles in Scotland. Inside Dunvegan is the fairy flag, a silk banner that the clan believed could summon supernatural help in battle, and which has been carbon dated to the early Middle Ages, older than most European monarchies. The MacLeod war galleys once patrolled from the Orkneys down to the Isle of Man. If your name is MacLeod, your bloodline may carry the Sea King crown of the Hebrides. If you have made it this far, the strongest 7 bloodlines are still ahead of you, and the top 3 names on this list ruled kingdoms so old that Rome itself never dared cross them. Subscribe now so you do not miss what the top rank hides. While the Sea Kings of the Hebrides ruled the waters north of Skye, an even greater island empire was gathering warships in the Sound of Mull. Number 7. MacDonald. In Gaelic the name is Mac de Manail, meaning son of Donald, and Donald was the grandson of Somerled, the 12th century Norse Gaelic king who broke the Vikings out of the Hebrides and forged the lordship of the Isles. Somerled's fleet swept the northern seas and shattered Norse dominion over the Western Islands in 1156. His descendants took the title Lord of the Isles and ruled a floating kingdom that stretched from the Isle of Skye down to the coast of Ireland. Scottish kings signed formal treaties with the Lords of the Isles as equal sovereigns. And when the lordship was finally broken by the Crown in 1493, the MacDonalds had become the largest single Highland clan in Scotland. Modern genetic testing has identified a Y chromosome signature tracing back to Somerled himself, and it is carried by tens of thousands of MacDonald men across Scotland and North America today. If your name is MacDonald, your bloodline may carry the fleet throne of the Lord of the Isles. Now cross back to Ireland, because the next 4 names belong to the 4 greatest Gaelic dynasties on the entire island. Number 6. O'Sullivan. In Irish the name is Siliabin, meaning descendant of Siliabin, the one-eyed warrior. The O'Sullivans were the sword arm of the Oganachti, the ancient royal dynasty of Munster whose kings once ruled from the sacred hilltop of Cashel. That rock, crowned today by a ruined cathedral and a round tower, was for 6 centuries the coronation seat of the southern kings of Ireland. In 1603, the O'Sullivan chief, Donal O'Sullivan Bear, led a march of 1,000 of his people north through the Irish winter to escape the English army after the fall of Kinsale. Only 35 survived. That march is still taught in Irish schools as one of the greatest acts of clan endurance in the country's history. If your name is O'Sullivan, your bloodline may carry the one-eyed crown of the Munster kings. The McCarthys wore that higher southern crown, and the next name on this list is theirs. Number 5. McCarthy. In Irish the name is Mac Curthai, meaning son of Curthach, the loving warrior. The McCarthys were the ruling dynasty of Desmond, the southern half of the ancient kingdom of Munster. Their strongholds were Blarney Castle, home of the famous stone, and Muckross Abbey near the lakes of Killarney. The McCarthy Miss, meaning the Great McCarthy, was crowned in stone ceremonies whose ritual roots run back to pre-Christian Ireland. In 1565, Queen Elizabeth I formally recognized Donal McCarthy as Earl of Clancair, one of the few Gaelic Irish lords she was ever forced to acknowledge as royal by treaty. The Book of McCarthy Ree, an illuminated Gaelic manuscript, still records their genealogy back 30 generations to the ancient Oganach kings. If your name is McCarthy, your bloodline may carry the southern crown of Desmond. In the north, the Gaelic dynasties had held out longer than anywhere else in Europe. That is where the next crown comes from. Number 4. O'Donnell. In Irish, the name is Domhnaill, meaning descendant of Domhnall, the world ruler. The O'Donnells were the princes of Tyrconnell, the wild ocean kingdom that covered modern County Donegal. Their inauguration site was a stone chair on the hill of Kilmacrenan, where a hereditary poet placed a white rod into the new chief's hand in ceremonies whose form was carved down from the Iron Age. The greatest of them was Red Hugh O'Donnell, who escaped from Dublin Castle in 1591 at the age of 19 after 4 years in an English dungeon, and rode north through the snow to reclaim his throne. He then led the Northern Gaelic army into the 9 Years' War against Queen Elizabeth herself. When the war was lost, Red Hugh sailed to Spain to plead for reinforcements and died in Simancas Castle in 1602, according to Spanish records poisoned by an English agent. If your name is O'Donnell, your bloodline may carry the storm crown of Tyrconnell. The O'Connors sat above them in ancient rank. And the top 3 names on this list are the oldest royal bloodlines in the entire Celtic world. Number 3. O'Connor. In Irish, the name is Conchob Hair, meaning descendant of Conchobar, the Hound of Battle. The O'Connors were the kings of Connacht from the 10th century onward, and 2 of them wore the crown of High King over the entire island of Ireland. Turlough O'Connor, born in 1088, built some of the first stone castles ever raised in Ireland and issued some of the earliest medieval coinage struck by a native Irish king. His son Rory O'Connor became the last true High King of Ireland when he took the title in 1166. It was Rory who signed the Treaty of Windsor with Henry II of England on the 6th of October, 1175, a document that formally recognized Rory as King of the Irish outside Anglo-Norman lands. Every O'Connor today is a direct descendant of the man who wore the last native crown of an independent Irish kingdom. If your name is O'Connor, your bloodline may carry the last true High King's crown of Ireland. And yet even the O'Connors trace their crown back to an older dynasty. The next name is the Celtic bloodline that ruled Ireland the longest of any royal family in Europe. Number 2. O'Neill. In Irish, the name is Néill, meaning descendant of Niall. That Niall was Niall of the Nine Hostages, the 5th century warlord who raided as far as Britain and Gaul, and founded the Uí Néill dynasty that would rule most of Ireland for the next 600 years. Modern genetic research from Trinity College Dublin identified a distinct Y chromosome haplotype, known as RM222, that is carried by an estimated 2 to 3 million men worldwide, with roots in Northwest Ireland, and researchers have linked that signature directly to the Uí Néill dynasty of Niall's line. The O'Neills held the sacred inauguration site of Tullyhog in County Tyrone, where their kings were crowned on the Liach na Ar, the Stone of Kings. In 1598, Hugh O'Neill nearly drove the English out of Ireland at the Battle of the Yellow Ford, one of the worst defeats in Elizabethan military history. If your name is O'Neill, your bloodline may carry the 600-year crown of the Uí Néill. And that brings us to the single name that stands above every other Celtic royal bloodline. This is the name of the last true High King of Ireland, and the warrior who ended Viking power on the island forever. Number 1. O'Brien. In Irish, the name is Brian, meaning descendant of Brian. And that Brian was Brian Boru, the High King of Ireland, who unified the Gaelic kingdoms and crushed the Viking army at the Battle of Clontarf on Good Friday, 1014. Every O'Brien alive today is a direct male line descendant of Brian himself, verified through both the Annals of the Four Masters and modern genetic testing. Brian was killed in his own tent on the very day of his greatest victory, cut down as he prayed by a fleeing Viking warlord named Brodir. His body was carried across Ireland in a royal procession that took 12 days and ended with his burial at Armagh, the ancient capital of St. Patrick. The O'Brien chiefs went on to rule the kingdom of Thomond for another 600 years, and their descendants later sat in the House of Lords as the Earls of Thomond and Marquesses of Thomond. The O'Brien coat of arms still carries 3 lions, and their family motto reads, "The strong hand from above." If your name is O'Brien, your bloodline may carry the crown of the greatest Gaelic king who ever lived. If your name is O'Brien, tell us in the comments, and tell us which name on this list came closest to your own. Then subscribe, because the next Celtic bloodline we uncover might be the one hiding inside your family name, and it may belong to a crown older than Rome itself.